Welcome to the Friday at 4 podcast series with your host Charles Luttrell and co-host Steve Kent.
Yep.
Steve,
Good
welcome
stuff.
back to Friday at 4. How are you, buddy?
Good, good. It's a pleasure to be here on this holiday weekend. Love it.
I want to thank you for taking the time out of your day to do this. I know it's 4th of July. Everybody's celebrating along with you. And I
It's
really
all right.
appreciate you doing this, man.
Yeah, you too. You
Yeah.
too.
So last week you were away on some business trip in Arizona. So Rachel Gaddis stepped in to fill your
Oh,
shoes
cool.
and you did a great
Nice.
job. She says hi.
Hey, Rachel, how are you?
Yeah. Yeah, she did. She did good. It was a great conversation. If you haven't had a
Good,
chance to
good.
watch it yet, but
Okay.
yeah,
Good stuff. Good
yeah.
stuff. I'm excited. Glad. The idea behind this whole thing is whether I'm here or not is to just give valuable information to our viewing audience. That's the whole purpose. So I mean, it's
Absolutely.
great that somebody filled in and was able to do that. So awesome.
Yeah, and somebody great, just as
Yeah.
yourself, with Rachel, she's really
Mm,
good, and she wanted to be
good.
here today, but she couldn't make it, obviously.
Well, yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah. So
Good
now we were
stuff.
toying around a little idea of what we were talking about earlier for a topic today. So go ahead and kick it off.
So there's a whole bunch of things weaved into here. Um, but people hear, I want to retire. Um, they may or may not know when. Typically they don't, but that's okay because most people don't. They also say, I don't know how much money I need when I retire.
Yeah.
And that is also a question that most people don't know. And that's just normal. But there is a whole process that I go through where we sit down and look at where you are today.
Yeah.
What's your income? What's your expenses? What assets do you have? And let me just say really clearly, this is a no judgment zone. Has
Yeah.
nothing to do with whether you have $5 or $5 million. It's where are you today? Where do you want to be? And how much time do you have to get there? Assuming all things are good and you're healthy and all those things. So it really starts out with what's your income, what's your expenses, and what do you estimate that you will need to live your current lifestyle 5 years down, 10 years down, 20 years down for the rest of your life. Now, nobody knows because there's this funny thing called inflation.
You
Okay.
beat me to it. I was going to say that number can
Yeah,
change drastically over the years.
just a little bit, right?
Just a little.
So we figure out where you want to be, and we factor in 3, 4, 5% inflation. And again, nobody knows if that's even the right number because God knows what we're being told.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
and then we sit there and do some calculations, and we use an online tool that does all this behind the scenes. And so you're putting in your assets, your expenses, and all these things, and your projected income. And it comes out with this number called a financial independence number.
Wow.
And what that means, and it's accurate. And again, it's only as good as the information you put into it, like anything else. So if you're honest,
Right.
you're going to get a better number. It kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
And the financial independence number says this is how much money you need to have so that you can live the rest of your life with the income you just told me you would like to have.
Mhm.
Now, there's a couple of ways to look at that, and people panic. But I will tell you right now, do not panic. And I'll tell you
Yeah.
why. You could sit there and this number could say, you need to have, or no, not you have, you need to have to last you the end of your life. And we estimate so many years. Again, illustration only. You need $5 million.
Mhm.
And of course, I would sit there and go, no, you got to be kidding me. $5 million, it's just not happening. However,
Right.
and I'm trying to be nice with that statement, okay? But it's just not happening. But then the next number it shows you is you said you want $120,000 a year or 10,000 a month
Mhm.
to last you the rest of your life. So the next number this tool shows you is in order to generate 10,000 a month, and again in this illustration,
Yeah.
10,000 a month or 120,000 a year, you need to accumulate 2 million. 2 million at 6% annually is $120,000, which is your 10,000 a month. So yes, you may need 5 million over your lifetime, but you don't need 5 million now.
Right. So I think the
So
cool thing too, right, is that, you know, that's what you're good at. So you have all these, you have access to all these tools and ways for people to generate that money, not just by your job, it's by all these programs that you have access to, right?
correct, correct.
Yeah.
So of that, again, illustration of that 2 million that you need to accumulate, you
Mhm.
could sit there and say, I don't know, I got 50,000. How do I get to 2 million? But
Yeah.
that's where we sit down and figure out what income do you have? What expenses do you have? So what's your net cash flow?
Mhm.
Then we look at what you can afford, again, because we don't want to strap you. What can you afford realistically every month in specific vehicles that the money will grow tax free?
Yeah.
So you really need to accumulate less because when you take it out, it's tax free.
Right.
I mean, you could say I could take out 10 grand, it's taxable. I have 7 grand a month left, but I told you I need 10. That
Yeah.
doesn't help you. But if we can accumulate 10,000 a month tax free, now it's all yours. Now you can live the way you want.
Yeah.
That's the point behind what we do is looking at what you do, income, expenses. If you don't have the cash flow, then we can sit there and say, okay, let's take a really good look. And again, honesty is key here. Where are you spending your money every month?
Mm.
Too much Starbucks, too much Dunkin' Donuts, too much eating out. Do you need
Guilty.
an eight? Me too. Do you need
Right.
an $800 a month car payment when you can do 400?
Yeah.
These are the things we take a look at. Now, if you happen to be in a situation, and again, no judgment zone, if you happen to be in a position where you really cannot reduce your expenses, then we have to look at how do we get you extra income.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's where all this whole process comes in of looking at all the different sides. It's like putting a crossword puzzle together. Not
Yeah.
crossword puzzle. What's the puzzle with all the pieces in it? It's not a crossword puzzle. A jigsaw puzzle,
Jigsaw
right? You have
puzzle. Yeah.
you have a 100 piece puzzle. I was close. You have a 100 piece puzzle, but if they don't fit exactly right, you're not going to complete the puzzle. It's the
Yeah.
same thing here. Honesty to know where you are, because frankly, every dollar counts over
Yeah.
time based on certain interest rates. Every dollar counts towards getting you where you want to be.
Yeah. But you know,
Now,
I think the key word you hit on was honesty, right? Because when you sit down with people, especially with your free consultation you do, you
mhm,
know, yeah, I think the first thing you have to say, right, is, all right, Chuck, you got to be honest with me. What are we working
mhm,
with? Because if you're
right.
not honest to you with what they have to work with and how they're going to get through this and navigate this
Mhm,
crazy puzzle, right? Then how are you really going to get them to where they want to be with, all right, when I retire, I want to have, $10,000 a month to live off of, right?
mhm.
Yeah.
Honesty, and again, you can tell me anything you want, and to
Yeah.
me, I believe you. How? Because I don't know any different. But look at yourself in the mirror.
Right.
You can't lie to the person in the mirror. And I'm
Yeah.
not saying you're going to, but if understanding the bigger picture, because if you don't be honest and we can't put a real good plan in place, you will not get where you want to be. And when you get to that point, it's too late. You don't
Yeah.
have the time. And if you're
Right.
not honest and don't get there, you're going to have one option. And that option is the government's plan. And I am telling you, that's not where you want to be.
Yeah,
Medicare,
I get it.
Medicaid, you don't want to be there. You have
Yeah.
no say in your own sanity, your own care, your own anything. You have no say.
Yeah.
And you don't want to be in that position.
Yeah.
That's why you have to be honest. And again, this is not, I mean, you've heard the term Rome was not built in a day. Well, your
Perfect.
retirement, that financial independence number is not built in a day.
Yeah.
It takes time. And the younger you are when you start, the more time you have, which means the less you need to put away every month to get you where you want to be.
Mm.
So the simple example for that, if you wanted to save, and again, I'm just going to round numbers, $120 a year, you could put away $10 a month and be okay. And at the end of the year, 12 months, you have $120. Or you could wait and in December try to scramble to come up with $120. Which makes more sense?
Yeah. That's
Put
so
the 10 a
true.
month. And
It's so true.
that's what we do. And there's all kinds of tools. And we explain this to everybody so you know, and it's simple. There's no fancy math, there's no, smoke and mirrors. It's all put down right in front of you, easy to understand. And that's the way it is. That's the way it's supposed to be. Because
Yeah.
if somebody, through my experience, if somebody makes it complicated and talks in all these fancy terms, either they really don't know what they're doing or they're trying to snow you.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, if that happens, then I would just turn around and run
Yeah.
because something is just not right. So
Yeah.
that's what I would do.
And that's why I recommend you a lot to a lot of people I talk to because you're going to get the honest, brutal truth. As long as you're honest with Steve,
Right.
Steve's honest with you, you're going to get to the result that you're looking for, right? Because
Mhm.
the ultimate
Yep.
goal here is to have a retirement, have something so when you do get of age, you're not stuck,
Correct.
because so many people that 55 plus right now are struggling to come up with
Mhm.
$120, $200
Right.
to put
Right.
away. So if you do it when you're 18 to 21, 22, you're putting a couple $100 into this, whatever Steve chooses that you
Mhm.
put your money in. 30 years from now, when you are in your 50s, you're looking pretty good.
So you're absolutely right. So let me just put in a couple of things here. Something you just said that whatever Steve chooses,
I knew
Steve
you were going
doesn't
to comment
choose.
on that.
Steve doesn't choose. Steve gives somebody options,
Give options.
and the person chooses which option they want. This is not my
Yeah,
decision. It's not my money. I
right.
give a person options. Now, we've talked about this once before. When I sit down with someone, whether it's once, twice, 5 times, 10 times, there is no cost out of
Yeah,
pocket to the person I'm sitting down with. If we go to the extent that, yes, you want to put a plan in place, then the companies that I use for that plan, they pay me.
yeah,
The person pays me nothing.
yeah. That's the
Just
beauty of this. I love that you help for free. You got this free consultation. You know what you're doing. You know what options that you should put in front of people and let them choose. I really, I think that's awesome.
yeah, it's to me, it's the only way because there are people out there in my industry who make a fee for every transaction. And the
Yeah,
question becomes, If they have control of your money and they're putting transactions through, they're making more and more money. And yes, you, in all honesty, in all fairness, you do sign a form that says you're giving somebody the authority to do that.
Mhm.
But there's that fine line between doing right by the customer and getting greedy for commission.
Yeah.
And again, let me state honesty, there are most people that are good. There's only a few that are not. But it's those few that really cause the problem for, or the image for everybody else.
Yeah. There's always something bad in everything, in every industry.
Right.
We're always fighting these little uphill battles sometimes, right?
Correct. Correct.
Yeah.
But it's okay. And I don't want somebody to be in that position of, uh-oh, I made a mistake. Uh-oh, I lost money. Uh-oh, I can't get it back. Uh-oh, I'm 20 years older and I don't have the time. I don't
Right.
want. There was something I saw, I think it was this morning on one of the online channels that I get into, that one it was one of the I think it was a football player. I think it was a football player where the financial advisor had access to the football player's account and ripped them off for $1.5 million
Wow. That's crazy.
because they weren't honest.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
Yet again, it is the minority of people, but it just shows you that you have to be aware. You have to ask the questions. Go with
Yeah.
a reputable firm. Make sure the
Yeah.
person is licensed, which again, all that stuff doesn't guarantee you anything, but it will minimize the potential for something to go wrong.
And sometimes making the improper or poor decision when you're forced to make a decision, right? Because now you're at a certain age to where you're forced to meet with people and do this because, like at my age, I'll be
Yeah.
forced to make these decisions and you got to make sure you're speaking to the right person or you'll be broke.
Yep. Always have um, a will, always have a trust, always have stuff that, will keep you protected. Um, Definitely diversify. Don't put all your money into one vehicle. Try to spread it if you can across companies, across products. If it's in the market, make sure that you're hedged against losses so that if the market goes down, you don't lose any money, which is what I use. And that's a big deal. One of the things that just, again, throwing this stuff out,
Yeah.
what I say to a lot of people, and it's a little bit of math, but let's say you had $100 and the market goes down 20%, so you lose $20. Now you have 80. If the market goes down 20%, what percent do you need to get back to the 100? A lot of people say, if I lost 20%, I have to make back 20%. But it's
No.
not, the math doesn't work. You
Nope.
need a 25% return. Now, is it possible? Yes. But here's the challenge with having some money invested that can lose. Because if you have 100 and it loses, doesn't matter how much, it loses. And it takes the time, based on history, it will come back. It takes the time to come back to that $100.
Yeah.
So, yes, you got back to where you were, and that's great. But what you lost is the time that your 100 could have been making money
Yeah.
instead of trying to just get back to the 100.
Yeah.
That's what I do is I help you stay at the 100 if the market goes down. So when it goes back up, your starting point is the 100, not the 80. So
Yeah.
you're making more money with the same percent return.
Yep. Such great advice. I didn't expect that either. I was going to say I didn't get back to 40% to make back to that 100 because I'm always
Mhm.
thinking very aggressive as, want to be in a safe zone. So instead of saying 25%, I'm going to take it to 40%. So I know I'm safe to get back that
Right,
$100,
right, right.
Yeah.
When the market went down in '08
Mm.
and it went down roughly 50%, the market came back. It took 10 or 11 years.
It took a while. Yeah.
So in that 10 or 11 years, think about how much money you could have made if you didn't lose that 50%.
Yeah.
That's what happens. So not only that, but you lost in 08. It came back to like, I don't know, 2018, 2019. And guess what happened in 2020? You
Yep.
lost again.
You lost
So
again.
you're always fighting to get back to where you were instead of moving ahead towards your goals of retirement.
Right. And make it
That's
stable, right? Have that stability, right? Yeah.
right. And that's the
Yeah.
difference. You've heard the term slow and steady wins the race. That's what it is.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Exactly what it is. Slow and
Yep.
steady in a safe investment that's protected from market downturns.
You got it.
That's what that is. And again, it is not as complicated as it sounds right now. And that's why, we explain it. We show numbers, we show options. We make sure that people understand it. Because if I'm talking with you, Chuck, and I show you something and you don't understand it, I will never ask you to sign anything.
Yeah.
Until you understand it, I will not let you sign anything.
Yeah.
That's the difference. I
Yeah.
won't.
I think a lot of these young kids are scared, right? They're afraid to put the money in things, afraid they're going to lose it because, well, it's not
Right.
Starbucks, it's not Dunkin' Donuts. So I need some kind of security. And I think they're misled as well off
Yeah.
of, hey, if you take that $25 a week, don't
Hmm.
buy that Starbucks coffee for 2 days.
Right.
Put
Right.
it into this, what Steve is suggesting, where you put your money,
Hmm.
in 10, 20, 30 years, you'll have something
You'll
and you'll
have a
be
lot.
safe and secure. Yeah.
You will. Then you
Yeah.
can have all. Then you can own a Starbucks.
Go to Starbucks, right? You beat me to
There
it.
you go.
Yeah, exactly, man.
But yeah, it's just be aware. Don't fall for the first person that comes into your life from this perspective. Ask
Yeah.
around again. Make sure they're licensed. Not every person, not every company is the same. Our company has a slogan. It's a very simple three-word slogan: mission before commission.
I love it.
Help the people, make sure they understand it, make sure they really understand it.
Yeah.
Your commission comes second.
Yep.
Help the people first. I can't tell you how many families I've helped, and I've talked them out of things that they really don't need.
Yeah.
Did it reduce my commission? Absolutely. Do I care? No, because I've done the right thing and I know I can sleep at night. To me,
And
that's more
you'll have
important.
that customer in the future as well, who they could possibly have leads come to you, and
Correct.
you'll do the better because you did the right thing, you know?
Correct. Yeah. Have to do the right
Absolutely.
thing 100% of the time.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, Steve, thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
No,
I know you're
absolutely.
you're
My
busy
pleasure.
today. You're out there celebrating the fourth like everybody else.
No,
We're
that's
here
okay.
live on TikTok as well. We had a couple of followers
Oh, good.
following us and watching. I hope they got something out of it as well. So I
Hmm.
really appreciate this. I
Yeah.
know you're a busy man and we all got things going
Well,
on.
we all are. But you know what? It's
Yeah,
it's more important that we spread some information and help people. We talk about this every week. We're
yeah,
here to help and to just use our experiences so people don't make the same mistakes that we did. That's why we do this.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
All
it's
right.
Steve at,
Steve Kent FS.com.
there you go.
And it's
And your
Chuck at.
number,
Oh, okay.
QACteam.com. But let's tell them your number.
My number is 516-727-2294.
I think I'm going to start putting that in the show notes as well when I edit these videos. I
Mm.
never did that. I put your website now. I never put the number in there. I'll have to start putting your number in there as well.
Yeah,
That's a good
that's
idea.
an idea. Yours as
Yeah,
well. Not just me, it's you too. I mean, we're a
yeah,
good team here, so.
yeah, yeah. I love this. I think we
Mhm.
got something good here where we're
Yeah.
giving good information every week, every Friday at 4 o'clock.
Mhm.
We're here, we're recording, we're
Yeah.
helping people. We want to make sure that people get good information and know where to go to get help.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
It's important. It is important.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Good stuff. All
Yeah.
right.
Hey, thanks again for this
No,
Friday
my
Four
pleasure.
podcast series because
It's 4 o'clock somewhere.
4 o'clock somewhere. Steve, enjoy the rest of this 4th of July.
You too. You
Enjoy
too.
the day. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk soon, buddy.
You got it. Thanks. Take care, everyone.
Take care. Have a great 4th. See you, buddy.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You've been watching the Friday at 4 podcast series with your host Charles Luttrell and co-host Steve Kent. Thanks for watching.